The perorations of the YouTube live stream by the cyber sojourner known as Destiny on the murky quagmire of the housing market ascend to a crescendo of both ire and illumination. It is a discourse redolent of the most labyrinthine of economic treatises, though delivered with the vernacular fervor of a gladiatorial contest in the forums of ancient Rome.
For one real quick second, how lucky, okay? Just as nobody will ever talk about this, and it's not worth talking about, but whatever, I don't care. I will, because I don't give a okay? There is a class of people that actually make out like filthy dogs when it comes to inflation, okay? Remember, inflation, in the broadest sense of the term, arguably devalues, okay, currency, arguably, right? In a very, very broad, very macro sense, it devalues currency, okay? People that have non-cash assets are kind of insulated because the value of the asset increases, inflation, right? And people that have cash debt also benefit from inflation. So imagine right now, okay, the real evil people right now are the homeowners. More people than at any point in U.S. history have a refinanced mortgage that's like 2.5%. So the money is free. Okay, they have huge houses. The money is free. And now not only is the money free, but now you've had a couple years of really big, okay, year-over-year inflation. You know what doesn't inflate? The amount of money that they owe on their home. So the price of their home is going up. The absolute dollar value of the mortgage remains the same. The inflated value means that the debt that they owe on their house is decreasing, and they have historically low interest rates than at any point in U.S. history, okay? Homeowners, okay? Absolutely disgusting, okay? There was this one graph, I'll never be able to find it again. It's like percentage of homeowners, current interest rates. The amount of people that own homes right now with just interest rates that are financed at disgusting rates is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think this was I remember seeing this graph on a tweet in maybe a year ago. Can I find this? 89% of U.S. homeowners, 6% is high. It was an ungodly amount. I want to say it was below 3%. It was. Are these new mortgages also, or are these? This is in February. Do you still own that house in Nebraska? Yeah, I do. Oh, it might have been this, maybe. Look at how much of the market, right? Mortgage holders. This is all mortgage holders, not just new mortgages, right? In 2022, almost 60% of the market was at under 4% for interest rate on a loan. Unreal. Almost a quarter of the market below 3% on their mortgage. Unreal. And now you've got the inflated value is effectively reducing the debt owed, plus the increase in the value of their homes and everything. Unreal. Did I refinance? No, I just need to pay mine off. I'm just a lazy. Why do you say it's disgusting? It's just an expression. I guess it sounds normatively loaded. It's just really good. If you were a homeowner and you bought or you refinanced when the rates were super low, you're in such an unbelievably good position. However, because owning a home is a dog shit way to build wealth, but it is the most important way that all Americans build wealth. When they build wealth using their homes, they don't feel it and they don't feel good about it. And so when everything inflates, they feel like shit because they're not actually gaining anything when their home value inflates because retarded Americans don't want to ever sell their homes. So that's why I hate homeownership as a vehicle of wealth building. It's so stupid. You can't pull money out of that. Wow, great. My home is worth, you can tell me right now, my home in Nebraska is worth $10 million. Okay, what the fuck am I going to do? Take out a HELOC and go buy a ducking machine? Like, how am I going to access that equity? What, am I going to rebuild my kitchen? Like, it doesn't do anything for me. Cringe. Okay, anyway.
Lo. The very fulminations of this modern-day rhetorician reverberate through the annals of digital ephemera, laying bare the pernicious inequities and the obscene largesse that have ensnared the unsuspecting denizens of the American Republic in the vice grip of fiscal despotism. In the grandiloquent exposition of inflation, Destiny pontificates with the fervor of a sibyl possessed by the oracular fumes of Delphi. Inflation, that insidious phantom which devalues currency in the macrocosmic arena of economics, is portrayed as the harbinger of both doom and opportunity. A Janus-faced entity, inflation unravels the threads of monetary stability while simultaneously weaving a tapestry of wealth for those who, with Machiavellian foresight, have invested in non-cash assets. Such assets, immune to the erosive forces of inflation, swell in value like the coffers of a Roman patrician gorged on the spoils of war. Yet, the acerbic tongue of Destiny does not rest upon the laurels of those wise investors, for it is the homeowners, the veritable patricians of this modern-day empire, who incur the most scathing of his diatribes. In a tirade that would make even the stoic Cato blanch, Destiny excoriates these homeowners, these domini terrae, who have shackled themselves to mortgages at historically low interest rates, a paltry 2.5% in many instances. These bonds of debt, far from being a burden, have become a boon, a golden fleece that shields them from the vicissitudes of an inflating economy. The houses, these palatial edifices of suburban opulence, soar in value while the debt attached to them diminishes in real terms. The very currency that once tethered them to the whims of the marketplace has now become a mere trifle, an inconsequential speck in the grand scheme of their burgeoning wealth. It is as though the gods themselves have conspired to reward these homeowners with the keys to the treasury of Croesus, while the rest of the populace toils in the shadow of their ever-growing estates. And yet, Destiny, ever the cynical oracle, does not allow his audience the luxury of complacency. For he reveals, with the clarity of a prophet unveiling the sins of a fallen empire, that this illusory wealth is but a hollow victory. The American dream of homeownership, once the cornerstone of middle-class prosperity, has become a Sisyphean task, a cruel jest played upon the masses. The houses, though valuable in the abstract, are nothing more than gilded cages, their worth inaccessible save for those willing to gamble their future on the dubious promise of home equity loans or the perilous venture of selling their most cherished possession. In this grand drama of economic fortune, the homeowners are cast not as the triumphant heroes, but as tragic figures, ensnared by the very system that was supposed to elevate them. The wealth they accrue, like the hoarded riches of King Midas, brings them little joy, for it is wealth that cannot be easily spent or enjoyed. The equity in their homes, a phantom fortune, does nothing to alleviate the day-to-day struggles of living in an increasingly unaffordable world. Indeed, Destiny laments the folly of a nation that has tied its collective wealth to an asset so illiquid, so immovable, that it might as well be buried in the walls of a forgotten tomb. As the diatribe reaches its zenith, Destiny's rhetoric becomes a torrent, a flood of invective aimed at the very heart of American society. The homeowners, once lauded as the backbone of the economy, are now portrayed as the unwitting pawns of a system that thrives on inequality and despair. The graph, a mere visual aid in the hands of lesser men, becomes, in Destiny's hands, a weapon, a dagger plunged into the heart of the housing market. The interest rates, the percentages, the cold, hard data, they all coalesce into a damning indictment of a system that has lost its way. In the end, Destiny's discourse is not merely an analysis of the housing market, it is a requiem for the American dream. The houses, these symbols of prosperity and stability, are revealed to be nothing more than illusions, castles built on the shifting sands of economic uncertainty. The homeowners, far from being the masters of their destiny, are shown to be the victims of a system that has betrayed them, leaving them to navigate the treacherous waters of a market that no longer serves their interests. And so, with the final flourish of his rhetorical blade, Destiny leaves his audience to ponder the futility of it all. The housing market, the economy, the very fabric of American society, it is all a grand illusion, a mirage that shimmers in the distance, promising much but delivering little. And in this desert of disillusionment, destiny stands as a lone voice, crying out in the wilderness, warning all who would listen of the dangers that lie ahead. As the embers of destiny's fervent discourse begin to cool, we are left not merely with the ashes of a blistering critique, but with the burning question of what must be done to rectify the inequities he so vividly illuminates. The clarion call that echoes through the corridors of this live stream is one that demands action, not just introspection. The very foundations of the American dream, the bedrock upon which countless lives have been built, must be re-examined, re-evaluated, and, where necessary, dismantled and rebuilt anew. To the policymakers, the stewards of our collective future, the message is clear. The time has come for a radical rethinking of our approach to housing and wealth. It is no longer enough to champion homeownership as the ultimate path to prosperity when it has become a gilded trap for so many. We must advocate for housing reforms that address the distortions of the market, ensuring that the dream of owning a home does not become a nightmare of debt and stagnation. This could involve implementing policies that promote affordable housing, regulate predatory lending practices, and provide greater support for renters and first-time buyers. Moreover, society at large must reconsider its obsession with homeownership as the singular route to financial security. The wisdom of diversification, long preached but seldom practiced, must be heeded. Individuals should explore alternative investment strategies that do not tie their fortunes to the capricious whims of the housing market. Be it through investments in education, technology, sustainable industries, or even the burgeoning field of digital assets, the avenues for wealth building are as varied as they are numerous.